Hello students, I hope all of you are doing well, and now we are going to start the second lecture of our chapter, that is synthetic fibers and plastics. And in this lecture we are going to look at some other topics, and the very first topic we are going to look at is the very first topic, that is rayon, or it is also called as artificial silk. We are going to discuss that why rayon is called as artificial silk. Now rayon is the first man-made synthetic semi-synthetic fiber. Rayon is the first man-made, and it is also semi-synthetic fiber. It is a semi-synthetic fiber, and it is composed of regenerated cellulose, and it is composed of regenerated cellulose. What is regenerated cellulose? It is a component of green plants. A component of It is a component of green plants. Now, the rayon is also called as artificial silk. Now we are going to discuss that why rayon is called as artificial silk. The artificial silk prepared from cellulose. The artificial silk prepared from cellulose is called rayon. Is called as rayon. Why it is called as artificial silk? As you can see that here is a picture of rayon, and you can see that it resembles silk in its texture and shine. So that's why it is called as artificial silk. I have also given a picture here, as you can resemble it from silk. So that's why it just looks like silk, but it is not the pure silk. So that's why it is called as artificial silk. Now we are going to discuss that why rayon is called artificial silk, because rayon resembles silk. Rayon resembles silk in appearance, in appearance, texture, texture, shine, and hence also called and hence they are also called as artificial silk. Also called artificial silk. And there are several varieties of rayon, and rayon is obtained from a natural source. Rayon is obtained from a natural source like wood pulp. Rayon is obtained from wood pulp. Now, how rayon is obtained from wood pulp, we are going to discuss that also. So, the process of making it, or the process of making rayon, the process of making rayon in Europe is called as viscous process. It is made in Europe generally, and the process is known as viscous process, and it is known as viscous process, and thus the rayon thus obtained, the rayon thus obtained, the rayon thus obtained is known as viscous in Europe, is known as viscous in Europe. The next point is that they are available in three different varieties. They are available. They are available in three different varieties. And the very first one is viscose. The next is cupramonium. It is a type of rayon only, cupramonium. Or we can also call it as cupra or cupro. And the next is acetate rayons. And the last one is acetate rayons. Now we are going to discuss. Now the next topic that we are going to discuss about is preparation of rayon. Now, how rayon is prepared? The very first rayon is prepared. The very first type of rayon is viscous rayon. The very first is viscous rayon. And in viscous rayon, the raw materials, we all know that the raw materials for the preparation of rayon, the raw materials for the preparation of rayon, the raw material for the preparation of rayon is wood. Wood is the raw material for preparation of rayon. Wood is changed into wood pulp, and from here, wood is changed into wood pulp, and the wood pulp is changed into a viscous solution, and the wood pulp and the wood pulp is changed into a viscous solution, into a viscous solution, and that is known as viscous, and that is known as viscous, that is known as viscous. and this is prepared with the help of chemicals. With the help of chemicals. And this is prepared with the help of chemicals. Now the reactions goes like that, that if we cellulose is the cellulose we obtain from the wood, and if we add cellulose with sodium hydroxide, the preparation goes like that. If we add cellulose with sodium hydroxide, then it converts itself into alkali cellulose. Sodium hydroxide is NaOH, and it converts itself into alkali cellulose. It converts itself into alkali cellulose, and then the alkali cellulose, and then the alkali cellulose, when mixed with carbon disulfide, and then when alkali cellulose is mixed with carbon disulfide is CS2, then it converts itself into orange colored suspension. Then it converts itself into orange colored suspension, and the orange colored suspension is like small fragment of beads. Now now when the orange colored suspension is again dropped into sodium hydroxide, when the orange colored now when the orange colored suspension when the orange colored suspension is again dropped into sodium hydroxide is again dropped into sodium hydroxide, then it forms a viscous solution. Then it forms a viscous solution. It forms a viscous solution. And the viscous solution is then passed through a fine hole of shower. As you can see the fine hole of shower here. So it is passed through a fine hole of shower. Then the viscous solution is then passed through a fine hole of shower head, a fine hole of shower head, and these fine hole of shower head of a spinneret of a spinneret into the acid bath. And there is a acid bath. As you can see, into the acid bath it is passed into the acid bath. Finally, these cellulose filaments, when we pass them cellulose filaments into the acid bath, finally these cellulose filaments are spun. These cellulose filaments are spun these cellulose filaments are spun into rayon yarn, and these cellulose filaments are spun into rayon yarn. So how the equation goes like? The equation goes like when we mix viscous solution, when we mix viscous solution with sulfuric acid, that is if we gave acid bath to the viscous solution, when viscous solution is mixed with sulfuric acid, then there is a cellulose filament. It converts itself into cellulose filament, and then finally it is spun in yarn. So this is the process and this is the preparation of a rayon. Now the next topic that we are going to discuss about is cupramonium rayon, or we can also call it as cupro. A cupramonium rayon is when a copper sulfate solution, a copper sulfate solution that is blue in color, on treatment with the excess of ammonium solution, on treatment with on treatment with the excess of ammonium solution, the excess of ammonium solution gives a deep blue solution of a compound. Then it gives a deep blue solution, deep blue solution of a compound. It gives a deep blue solution of a compound, and that compound is known as cupramonium hydroxide, and that compound is known as cupramonium hydroxide. And cellulose is dissolved in this solution, and the resulting solution is forced through spinnerets. The resulting solution and the resulting solution is forced through spinnerets. The resulting solution is forced through spinnerets, and it 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 forced through spinnerets into an acid bath to give the filaments. It forced into spinnerets into an acid bath to give the filaments of to give the filaments to give the filaments of rayon, or we can also call it as cupramonium rayon. Now how the equation goes like? The equation goes like when we mix a copper sulfate solution with ammonium solution. So copper sulfate solution, that is CuSO4, and it is blue in color. When we mixed it with excess of ammonium solution, so ammonium solution NH3 in excess, then it came out as cupramonium hydroxide, and the cupramonium hydroxide is CuNH3 whole 4 and hydroxide is OH and with hold twice. So when we mix cupramonium hydroxide with cellulose, so when cupramonium hydroxide CuNH3 whole 4 OH whole twice is mixed with cellulose, and when it is mixed with cellulose, then it will give us cupramonium rayon. Then it will give us cupramonium cupramonium rayon. Now the next topic that we are going to look at is acetate rayon. Now what is acetate rayon? In this case, cellulose is dissolved. Cellulose is dissolved in a mixture of acetic acid. In a mixture of acetic acid, sulfuric acid, and other chemicals. And there are some other chemicals involved also. So some other chemicals. When a cellulose is dissolved in acetic acid, sulfuric acid, and some other chemicals, and the solution is forced through spinnerets, and when the solution is forced through spinnerets, to obtain filaments of acetate rayon. They are forced to spinnerets to obtain the filaments of acetate rayon. They are passed through spinnerets to obtain the filaments of acetate rayon. So this is how the acetate rayon is being prepared. I hope preparation of all the three rayons is clear to all of you. And now the next topic that we are going to discuss about is properties of rayon. Now we are going to discuss about the properties of rayon, that what are the properties. The fibers of rayon, the very first property is the fibers of rayon. The fibers of rayon are long, smooth, and shiny. The properties of rayon, the very first is the fibers of rayon are long, smooth, and shiny, and it appears to be as silk, so that's why they are called as artificial silk. The next is it sheds dirt easily. It sheds dirt easily. The third property is that it is a good conductor of heat. It is a good conductor of heat. Rayon is a good conductor of heat and cool to water. And it is cool and it does not melt. Rayon does not melt. It does not melt. The next property is that it has a tendency to absorb moisture. It has a tendency to absorb moisture. It has a tendency to absorb moisture, and because of its tendency to absorb moisture, and because of its tendency, and because of its tendency to absorb moisture, because of its tendency to absorb moisture, rayon can absorb sweat. Rayon can absorb rayon can absorb sweat. Now, the next properties that we are going to discuss about rayon is that as it can absorb sweat, therefore it is generally preferred. Therefore, it is generally preferred it is generally preferred over other synthetic fibers and fabrics. It is generally preferred over other synthetic fabrics. It is generally preferred over other synthetic fabrics in summer. The next point is that it is shiny and lustrous. It is shiny and lustrous and resembles to silk in appearance. And resembles to silk in appearance. And it resembles to silk in appearance. So that's why it is called as artificial silk. So it is also called artificial silk. Now, the next point is that it wrinkles easily. Rayon, it wrinkles easily. The wrinkles are very easy on it and may stretch or shrink, and it may stretch or shrink when washed. When it is washed, it may stretch and shrink. Now, the next topic that we are going to look at is uses of rayon. Now, the uses of rayon are it is used in manufacturing of fabrics. It is used in manufacturing of fabrics, manufacturing of fabrics for saris, for saris. The next point is that it is used for making dresses. It is used for making dresses. aprons and caps when mixed with cotton. It is used to make dresses, aprons and caps when it is mixed with cotton. When mixed with cotton in the ratio of 50-50. 50% is rayon and 50% is cotton. The third use of a rayon is that it is used in medical field. It is used in medical field for making gauze. For making gauze and lint. And lint. Lint is for dressing gowns. It is used for dressing gowns. Now the next point is that it is used for making tire cord. It is also used for making tire cord. And the next is that it is used for making carpets. It is used for making carpets. It is used for making carpets when mixed with wool. When mixed with wool. Now, with this, we are going to end the lecture here only, and I hope we talk about rayon, and I hope it is clear to all of you. Now we are going to end the lecture here only, and thank you everyone.